Alright, so it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Today's the day we're going to turn the key on the Murray, actually technically push the button, and to be completely honest, pushing the button is not going to work. I bought a brand new battery for this thing, hooked this whole system up, tried to push the button just to make sure the starter would work. I'm getting a weird clicking. I replaced the relay. I don't know if it's a solenoid, I don't know if it's bad wiring between the key or the button, or if something corroded. I got to pull that whole electrical system apart, troubleshoot it. Luckily though, if you guys remember correctly, I have the original key that turns things on and off, and then you can hit the button, which obviously it for some reason is not working. But I've also got the fail-safe start, which works with the pull start that's not currently ready to go, but that is another version of the ignition kill switch for the coil. So with that on, this thing should run. Since the battery is brand new, what I'm going to do is actually jump start the starter off of its own battery, because that should work. We're going to get this thing running and see if she'll drive. But first, this thing needs gas. I did put oil in it. It hasn't had gas in it for, I don't know, 2.5 years whenever I killed it last. We're gonna put fuel in. It's gonna take it a minute for the fuel system to prime the carburetor, because it does have a fuel pump. Again, I've not run this motor yet. This is a new motor for this tractor, so I don't know what to expect. Now, since everything's grounded on this, theoretically, all I should actually need is a positive cable. Since I probably need to give her a little gas, sit on it, let's see how she goes. Maybe we have a bad ground, actually. Live! So far, no good. If we're not getting spark, and maybe we'll disconnect coil wire temporarily. See if we can get her running. This electrical system could be compromised by moisture or decay. Who knows at this point, honestly. Yep. So definitely have some wiring issues, but it sounds like it's going to run. Choke off. All right, so fast forward a few days into the future. I was not satisfied with how we ended that last video. It just seemed like things weren't working out for me. So I put the thing back in the shop. I figured out why it wasn't starting. The fail-safe switch wouldn't work. I had a bad ground. Very simple. I just bolted it back down, cleaned the metal, did all that thing, put some dielectric grease on it. It's all good now. So the starting ignition system works, all the plugs, all the keys, everything is functional now. Also was really upset with the fact that I couldn't get any air into this thing with that snorkel. So I ended up putting the sponge, the original sponge filter back on there. For better or for worse, this filter is the one that I originally killed the engine with. So I've either got to figure out a splash shield or figure out maybe a shorter snorkel that maybe comes around the back of the engine over here to try to protect it from water, or I just have to respect the fact that this thing can't go 40 miles an hour into a body of water. Also, one of my viewers, I think his name was Jason Krieger, I hope I'm saying that correctly, had commented on the video where I put the motor onto the Murray, and he pointed out what he thought was a big mistake on my part, and after thinking about it, I think he might have been correct. So as you may or may not remember from my last video, when I had plumbed the fuel system and then tied the PCV system through the catch can, I took what was basically the suction side of the catch can, which as you can plainly see is right here wide open right now. I had tied it into this fitting here, and I still have the fitting down in my basement. But his theory was, and I think he's probably right, is the fact that since this thing at idle has so much vacuum through it, which is the very reason I use this to run the pump, would be pulling air constantly through this PCV system, which means it's coming from the crankcase down here. And because of that, as he basically explained to me, is going to create a lean condition. But right now I'm just kind of sticking it in here behind the gas tank just to kind of keep it out of the dirt. I'll get a filter for it as soon as I can, but as of right now we're just doing a test run. I did get my pull start pulley back on there. I just have to cut the groove in it and we're good to go with that. So I went right through this thing. I tried everything. I was adjusting the carburetor, as you guys may have seen. I was adjusting the needle. I was adjusting the air-fuel ratio screw, the only other screw you can adjust on these things. And it just seemed like nothing was working. It just felt like the power wasn't there. That being said, I've had that PCV system set up the way it has been for a very long time. When I kept digging through stuff and trying to figure out what was going on, the gas was fine, the compression was fine, you know, it has oil, all that stuff, it was all okay. Even after I changed the PCV system around, it still wasn't quite there. So I pulled the plug, and this thing was a burnt brown color. It just looked like the insulator did not look happy. It looked like wrinkly, it looked like it was coming apart. Obviously it was running lean. So I threw a new plug in it. It's an E3 plug, not a sponsor, but I liked them. But then I had a couple of them fail on me, so I stopped endorsing them. I had one in the shop, threw it in, this thing came alive. And I'll show you what I mean in a second, but this thing, it's back to what it used to be. Thank God, because I was really worried that there was something wrong with the motor, or I really didn't know what was going on, to be honest with you, but it definitely seems like it's back. So without further ado, let's fire up the Murray, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And as you may or may not have noticed in the last video, I put eyelids, or eyebrows, whatever you want to call them, on the headlight housings of the Murray. One of them, though, it only one works, so that kind of sucks. So I have to replace the LED lights. Also, I think I want to paint this pre-runner bumper thing. It's got to go black. I'm sick of the chrome, rusty look, so, you know, a couple changes still to come, but she's about ready for the trails. Let's get this thing running. God, I miss this thing. Holy crap, this thing is amazing. as you can see, clearly we have way more power than we did before. I think I still need to adjust my air fuel screw a little bit. I think I had it mixed really rich to compensate for the fact that the snorkel was on there before, and I need to back it off a little bit to make it a little bit more lean. The belt feels like the clutch is really high. That thing doesn't engage till I'm up here, so I either need to adjust I think I have an adjustable idler pulley right here, or get a smaller belt. Hopefully I redeemed myself. You guys can let me know in the comments section how excited are you guys for the Murray to come back in a valiant, triumphant manner. We're gonna go take it on a trail. I'm gonna try not to drown it again. With that being said, no guarantees, because that's what I do. I'm an idiot sometimes, so hopefully we don't kill it again. But thank you for watching, you guys. And you know, I've actually got a new project coming up real soon. Something very, very different from anything I've ever done. Again, if you pay attention to me on social media, you probably already know what I'm talking about. Yeah, look forward to that, and look forward to romps this summer. See you later.